It feels great to be back and to see everybody. Um, Today is the assessment, and those that have completed their work to a standard that I feel is adequate, then I'm going to let them write the assessment. The important assignment was definitely the Wolves of Yellowstone and the data sets assignment. So those were the two key ones that I wanted students to do to be ready for this assessment. Okay, so I'm going to talk a little bit about this assessment, and then you have the rest of the period to work on it. The first thing I want to point out is that remember the gray boxes that you'll see in each of the four parts of the assessment is describing what you need to answer. The white boxes are where you answer, and the orange boxes are for me. Do not touch the orange or the kind of yellowish boxes because that is the success criteria. So please read the success criteria to see what it takes to pass each question. Okay. But this is a story about deer populations looking at graphs, and you guys will have to decide what happened to the deer after you look at the data. Okay, and we're going to do this in four parts. The first part is just this single graph. What are the trends that you see happening to the deer population? And refer to the data in the second question because it wants you to point out data to support your trend. Okay, pretty easy. Second part is think of possible causes, both biotic and abiotic, to what happened to the deer population. Um, what do you think happened to the deer population? So you're going to have to write four possible things. For two of them, we'd like you to write the cause, mechanism, effect. Okay. Uh, Remember, if you think about the strategy I taught you, start with the effect. What do you think happened to the deer population? What was the cause of it? And then the mechanism is trying to explain how that happened, the phenomenon, the how and the why, the cause um, implemented and hinders the effect. Okay, so you do that for two. Don't touch this because I'm checking that. The third part is you have to look at four different graphs. If you click this, um, it's the deer SPA graphs. There are four different graphs, okay? Just like you did in the data sets questions, you're looking at the graph, studying the graph, okay? And it will load, and there's four different graphs, some bar graphs, some tables, and then a line graph here. So look at those four graphs. And then what you have to do is for each graph, you have to answer these two questions, okay? Number one, the graph's about the deer and the elk, okay, which is the first slide. And then the second slide is figure two, the amount of grass is what they eat. Three is about the fawn, which is the baby deer, and their deaths. What is the deaths that you're seeing? What is the trend? Okay, and then for the amount of rainfall. Okay, so it gets a little bit more difficult as you move into the third part, but you're filling out both of these. What patterns do you see? What do the patterns tell you about the change in the deer population? What could be causing the change? So it's basically a two-part question. This would be a little bit longer than this, okay? And then for me to check this to see if you're doing that. Finally, the fourth part is very similar to what we did when we had the wolves change rivers. What you have to do is look back to part one, telling us what happened to the deer population. Did the deer population increase, decrease, stay the same? So whatever you pick, if you pick decrease, then erase the other two, okay? And then what you have to do is show your line of thinking on how the deer population decreased or increased, whatever you said, or stayed the same, you could use the Jamboard, or you can use the table that we did in the cause, mechanism, effect, the Google drawing, I should say, sorry, okay? And what you want to do is you want to do the cause, mechanism, and a major effect. And I have an example below, okay? I'll show you. This would be an example of how you could do using a Jamboard, okay? You could say that there's four causes, what were the mechanisms, and all of these things led to the effect. Remember, we're doing the sequence of events. So maybe one cause led to another cause, which led to the final effect. And then this cause led to this cause combined with this cause, which led to the final effect. And this cause down here was independent and had nothing to do with this cause. So you're basically showing your line of thinking centered around these four things that influenced the deer population. Okay? The cause, you want to write out your cause. Mechanism, again, is showing the how and the why, trying to explain why that happened. And then your one final effect should be telling us what happened to the deer population. Okay? You could do it this way, which was the cause mechanism effect lessons, where you could drag boxes over, show your cause, the sequence of events in your mechanism, and then a final effect. Okay? I personally prefer this. That's what I would do, but some people want to use this. Or it says here you could draw it out on a piece of paper and then take a picture and insert it into the assessment. Okay? And that concludes the assessment. So there's 4 parts. You have the whole hour. Good luck. I'll be here to answer any questions. Take your time, double check, look at the criteria at the end of each question to see if you did it.